Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Farhan Mahmood and I am a panelist and advisor to Miftah Aid, a fantastic charity doing amazing work. Today, I want to talk to you about how to calculate Zakah. Now, Zakah can be a little bit tricky if it's the first time you're doing it. Once you get into the principles and you understand how the process works, it's not that difficult. It's just about keeping an eye on your finances, making sure you know what you're doing, and doing your calculations properly. Let's go through some simple basics. Take a look at this graph. Now, Zakah is applied on wealth that is subject to Zakah. Strictly speaking, that would mean any gold you have, any silver you have, any money that you have, and any assets and commodities that you have that you intend to sell. But anything that you keep for your personal use, your house, your car, these are excluded. Inshallah, please watch the video on which goods are subject to Zakah, and there inshallah we have discussed the details pertaining to them. But let's say now that you have listed all of your zakatable assets. How do I calculate my zakah? Let's begin with some basics. When does my zakah even initiate? When does it begin? Now, generally speaking, your zakah begins the moment you hit nisab. It's not necessarily in Ramadan. It's not in Dhul Hijjah. Your zakah, it commences, the financial year commences the moment you hit the nisab or the threshold. Let's assume that red line is the threshold. It's £350. That's the threshold, okay? And let's say I get some money in my bank. Say roughly, we will say £320. And then as time goes on, I save money. And eventually on the 24th of Sha'ban, I hit the nisab, £350. Now from this point onwards, I will keep a close eye on my wealth and I will wait until the following year, the 24th of Sha'ban in 1443, and I will see what is the status of my wealth. Now, bear in mind that your wealth may go up and down, but if the following year, on the 24th of Sha'ban, 1443, I ended up with £500, I have commenced the year at nisab, either equal to or above, and I have completed the year, either equal to or above nisab. If that's the case, now I must pay zakah, which is 2.5%. So that would be 2.5% of £500, which is roughly £12.50. That's how much I will pay to the poor and the needy. Now, granted, you probably don't remember the first time you hit nisab, and you may have multiple moments in your life where you lose everything. But if this is the first time you're doing it, try and work out this lunar year, and it has to be lunar year, okay? It's not the Gregorian calendar. You don't follow January, February, March, April. You have to follow the Islamic year. So, if it's Sha'ban, Ramadan, Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, and what have you, okay? So you have to keep a close eye on the Islamic lunar calendar. Roughly estimate when's the last time you hit nisab this year. It's very confusing, it's fine. You can start with a particular month, let's say January, if there's no other way for you to work it out, or start with Muharram, the first month. Try and work out when was the moment that you hit nisab. Now, if you've been above nisab the whole year, you'll have to backdate, obviously, from the first moment that you hit nisab. Again, that's backdating until you hit zero. From the moment you hit zero, the last time you hit zero, rock bottom, and then you worked your way back up to nisab. So the last time you hit nisab, that's when you should calculate. But if you didn't, try and estimate, roughly work out where you were. Let's say in our example, it was the 24th of Sha'ban. Okay? And if that's the case, my fiscal year, my financial year will begin on the 24th of Sha'ban. Now, what I have to do is keep an eye out for the 24th of the Sha'ban the following year. If my wealth is equal to the nisab or above nisab, now I must pay zakah. Okay? What do I do? How do I calculate my wealth? How do I deal with it? You have to sit down and you have to list everything you have on this particular day. Nothing else matters. On that final day, you have to ask yourself, what did I leave behind? What have I not left behind, but what have I got in my kitty? So, I might have £200 cash in the bank. I might have gold worth another £200. And then I've got liquid assets worth £100 that I intend to sell. So this could be goods that I immediately intend to sell and make a profit from. It amounts to £100. Collectively now, I have £500 with what I have here. But I realize, hold on, I also have £400 in cash at home. But I have a debt that I have to take into consideration. My debt is also £400. Any debts you have, you will minus that. You will minus that from your total wealth. So my total wealth would have been £900, right? My total wealth would have been £900 with that £400 cash. But since I have a debt that I owe someone, money that I borrowed, let's say that was £400, I can offset that amount, and what I have left is £500. I will now pay 2.5% of the total £500, which equals £12.50. And that's the amount of zakah I will pay. Now, bear in mind that you might have other things that you're trying to figure out. Well, how do I work out if I have stocks and I have shares? We have videos on stocks, we have videos on shares, we have videos on long-term debts and short-term debts. This video is about a basic understanding of how do I calculate my zakah. So, in a nutshell, you have to first see, are you eligible to pay zakah? Must you pay zakah? That is if you have been either equal to or above the nisab for one lunar year. And what do you focus on? The beginning of the year and the end of that year. Whenever it begins and whenever it ends. Now, let's say the year that your zakah your fiscal year comes to an end, your, let's say, anniversary date, your zakah anniversary date. On that day, you have wealth equal to or above the nisab. Then what you'll do is you'll calculate your total wealth, you'll minus your debts. What's left remaining is now subject to zakah. Okay? In the following videos, inshallah, we will be discussing the particulars of each area. I hope that was beneficial. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.